We begin with our Newsmaker segment and talk about the creation of a conviction integrity unit in Wyandotte County. The catalyst for the unit was the Lamont McIntyre case last year, where his double murder conviction was overturned and McIntyre was freed after serving 25 years in prison for a crime he did not commit. Joining us for the discussion is Wyandotte County District Attorney Mark Dupree. Mr. DA, welcome back to Ruckus.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here.
We've all heard about the McIntyre case and have some recollection of it, but fill in some of the details and give us an overview.
Absolutely. Very quickly. The Lamont McIntyre case was a case that I was met with when I came into office. This young man had been convicted of a double homicide when he was about 17 years old. The entire investigation took about 6 hours, and he was then convicted and sentenced to prison. Once I got into office, I was met with motions, 60-1507 motion, which is a post-conviction motion saying that I was innocent, I didn't do it, or that there was some type of constitutional due process rights that were violated. They had been trying to interact with the office for about 7 to 8 years, and then once I got in, I decided to go ahead and look at it. We did some interviews, brought in about 10 to 15 different folks from back in that time, as well as went to some federal prisons and talked to individuals who witnessed. There was a lot of recantation of witnesses. There was a lot of conversation of the detective who was involved with the case and a lot of things that were mishandled, likewise in some of the allegations that he did. Ultimately, after investigating the case as well as reviewing the evidence of the case, we saw that there were many flaws and many issues with it, and the defense team presented over 100 exhibits and pieces of evidence to the court, at which point the judge determined that there was manifest injustice enough to say that this case should not stand.
And he was freed and is functioning in society now as a result of the action.
Yes.
So that convinced you needed a conviction integrity unit, and you're in the process of putting one together?
Yes, we are. The Conviction Integrity Unit has been around since about 2007, really, when it's began to really show up on the scene across the country. There's about 34 of those Conviction Integrity Units.
But this is new in Wyandotte County?
This is new in the state of Kansas. This is the first in the state of Kansas.
Should all counties have one?
I think that it's something that all counties should look into. It is a great vehicle to make sure that the cases that all of our prosecutors' offices deal with hold integrity both now and 20 years from now.
How will you determine how many and which cases you look into?
Well, the law provides a statute, again, which is that 60-1507, and those cases come through the normal means that the statute allow when defendants file these motions saying that there was something wrong with their cases. The office reviews those cases even before the Conviction Integrity Unit.
And then you decide which ones should be pursued more aggressively?
Correct, and which ones we agree that there was something wrong.
Do you think it likely when you do these investigations there will be cases that were decided correctly?
I believe that 99% of those cases will show that they were in fact done correctly, but for that 1% that there was a Lamont McIntyre, I think that we need to deal with it accordingly.
What's the typical reason you find for unfair convictions?
Well, 46% of all cases that are exonerated since 1989 have been because of prosecutorial misconduct or hiding of evidence on the prosecutor's side. So that's 46% of it, and it's coming out of the prosecutor's office. And so that's one of the biggest things that we have to deal with.
Is this unit going to be in existence forevermore, or is its time somewhat limited by the amount of money that's been funded?
It will be there forevermore. We will make sure that it's there because it is a reality in our society. Since 1989, over 20,000 years in prison have been served by folks who have been exonerated. That says that we have flaws, and we have to make sure when there's verifiable and credible evidence that a person did not commit a crime, that we do our part as prosecutors to follow justice and not just a conviction.
If families or friends of someone who thinks he's been convicted unfairly have a claim, do they contact you and go further?
They contact the lawyer, and they
have a lawyer contact you
and file the appropriate motions, 60-1507, and then they can submit that application and that motion to the court, and we'll follow through.
Mr. DA Mark Dupree, thanks very much for coming in. Great to see you again.
Thank you for the opportunity. Always a pleasure.
That is Wyandotte County District Attorney Mark Dupree. Now let's meet our panel and start a ruckus.